Hey, what's going on, guys and gals? Dan the Man coming at you from the 60s Rule Channel. And today we got an update on this guy over here, the Tractor Trailer Project. And we got a shop card shout out as well. So don't go anywhere and stick around. All right, guys and gals, we're back at the bench over here. But before we get going with this update, we got a shop card shout out from this cool dude over here, Joey's Hobby Shop. And this guy, he had a channel before. I don't recall a name, but he's got this new name now for his channel, Joey's Hobby Shop. And that's a real cool truck there, Joey. Yeah, I'm really digging that, man. And yeah, he's a cool dude. And he's currently working on a diorama, and he's a very talented modeler. So man, go over there, give him a like, give him a sub, tell him he's cool, ring his doorbell, and tell him Dan the Man sent you. All right. And Joey, thank you so much for the kind words in the back over there. Really appreciate it. Feelings mutual. So check him out, Joey's Hobby Shop. All right, guys. Making a lot of progress over here. I had a couple other projects I put on the back burner. I got a couple of tanks and a Russian fighter jet I'm working on, but I wanted to concentrate on this because this thing took a lot of modifications and fab work to get it to this point. It's almost 90% done. And let me show you what we started with. This guy over here. This is the 700 tilt cab. Basically, I'm not using the cab or the interior. I just want to use the frame. All right. So what we did so far, finally got a rolling chassis over here. And I said in my previous video, let me see if I can get it close up. See those springs and the spring perches? Well, the kit actually calls for the location to be on the outside. See where those two holes are. But in order for my cab to fit over this chassis, I had to relocate the springs to the inside of the frame. Plus, I had to shorten this piece over here, this front axle. And I also had to put blocks in there. I don't know if you can see that or not, but right about there, you can see I put scratch built some blocks because it had too much of a rake to it. So I tried to level it out the best I could. So we got that squared away. And also, let's see. Oh, the engine. Now, this is basically a curbside. You're going to say, well, there's an engine in there. Well, not really. I removed the top half of the engine. I scratch built the interior floor pan, glued that to the floor pan. And if you can look on this side over here, you don't see an engine. But if you look underneath, it's a complete engine with the fan belt and everything in there. So that's supposed to simulate an engine. So when you look underneath, you can, visualize a whole engine there. So I think that was pretty cool. And the exhaust system is scratch built also. That's from solder. I think it's 0.093 inch solder. It works perfect for this application. And I found a couple of mufflers in my parts box, so we added those. The drive shaft is scratch built. That's an aluminum piece of tubing, and I just cut off the U-joints on both sides and made it work. So we got that going on. And then painted the front and rear axles red just to give it some eyeball and some contrast. And now the gas tanks, that was another story. The gas tanks were actually supposed to go where those two mounting holes are. I don't know if you can see those two mounting holes. What I had to do is, because of the cab, I had to make it fit over the frame rails and lower it. I had to cut one of the sections off of the gas tanks. They come in two halves. So I removed at least 1/4 of an inch of material, glued it back together, got rid of all the seams, and it worked out perfect because a little piece of dust over there, whatever that is. Get that off of there. You don't belong there. Because if I left the tanks the same dimensions, they would come like right about here, too low, almost touching the ground. So we modified those and we made it work, and it looks great. So yeah, we got the tire and wheel package all done. And actually, I was going to chrome them out, and I don't know what happened. I used my Molotov chrome, this stuff over here, the refill, and I shucked leaving daylights out of this thing. I was like shaking it for like 10 minutes. And for some reason, I don't know, maybe it's sitting here too long. And after I shot it over, it just came out like some kind of like aluminum finish. I don't know. What do you think, guys? Should I leave it? I mean, the tires and they're already mounted, but I don't know. I think we could work with that. It's got that like aluminum, like patina or whatever you want to call it. I don't know. I don't know. It looks all right. I think I can live with it. I think once everything's together, it's painted. I think it'll look all right. Anyway, and then we got the saddle that works. See, that's functional there. Hit that with some aluminum and some black wash. So yeah, so it's not too bad. It doesn't have too much of a rake to it. I wish it was sitting like this, but I think most of these tractor trailers were sitting a little high in the back because you see they got those helper springs in there. And I think once the tongue weight went on the back of the tractor, it would level itself out. And here's the cab we're working with, the Jimmy Flintstone 41 Ford. We got that in primer. Finished it this morning. Everything's all smooth out, really nice. I wet sanded it with 600. Washed it with some dishwashing liquid. Let it sit overnight. And then we hit it with some primer this morning. And it came out really nice. And I use Duplicolor primer. Anytime I, spraying some primer over a resin body, guys, like I tell you all the time, use a high quality automotive primer. And if you can't get your hands on that, Tamiya is a excellent primer. And what's that other one? I think it's Mr. Surfacer that some of you guys like to use. But yeah, always use a high quality primer, guys, because later on down the road, believe me, you'll save yourself a lot of time and effort, especially if you're doing a two-tone paint job like I'm doing here. You want to make sure that primer sticks to that resin. So, and we got that little diamond plate in the back over to here. Now, let me do a mock-up for you to show you how this all comes together. So, yeah, I was working on this thing all week. I figured, because of all the fabrication, I wanted to get this thing, somewhat done. So, basically, that's what she's looking like right there. And you can see those slots I put in the back there for the frame and the transmission. So that's all coming together. So looking really sweet there. And we're going to give this thing a two-tone. We got this Aztec purple. I want to finish this up. I got a little bit left in here. So that's going to go on the bottom portion. And this trim that goes all the way around here is going to separate the two colors. And then we're going to go with this lemon yellow. That's going to be the top portion over here. And then, yeah, and then we'll chrome out all this trim over here is going to be chromed out. And I think I'm going to chrome out the front grille as well. We'll hit that with some chrome. And as far as the interior goes, let me show you. Take this back off here. That was all scratch built. This is bits and pieces I found in my plastic box. I keep a bunch of scrap pieces, guys. I don't throw anything out, man. I save everything. So, yeah, they came in handy. And then these fender wells over here, those had to be modified to fit over the shock towers. So that worked out pretty good. So what we're going to do here, these are the cards that came with the Dodge kit, but I can't use them like they're supposed to be used in the kit because technically they're supposed to go like this, but that's not going to work. So what I did was I trimmed them down a little bit and I actually reversed them. So they're going to go somewhere like this. So this lines up with the Jimmy Flintstone cab. So we're going to work with that. And we painted a two-tone brown, nutmeg brown and some tan. And then I found some seats in my parts box there. So they're going to Whoops, there goes one. Oh, we'll get it later. It ain't going nowhere. Yeah, it's gonna go somewhere like that. I had to this had to be raised. I had to put some risers in there so they you know, fit well with the interior, you know. So because I'm not using the you know, the doghouse and the interior piece that came with the Dodge kit, so we had to scratch build everything. And I'm going to use the dash. So we modified the dash. See, I trimmed it over here. So this fits the contour in the 41 Ford cab. So that worked out pretty well. And oh, also, let's see, we got the steering wheel. I hit that with some copper, and then we chromed out the spokes a little bit there. And oh, one thing, this kit did not come with any headlights. So I went through all my kits. I don't have any like 1930s, mid 30s kits, you know, that have those, you know, headlights mounted on the fenders. So I said, what am I going to do? So I was going through my fastener box in the garage. You know, screws, nuts, bolts, and everything. So what I came up with is found these caps. These are, I think they call them vacuum caps. They're little vinyl caps, and they have the shape and contour of a headlight bucket, right? Then I came across these wall anchors, right? So what I did was I took the wall anchor and I cut off about a 1/4 inch off the tip, and this is what I came up with. I got myself a headlight bucket and a bezel, and all I got to do now is put a lens over the front, paint it up, and you see I got it pinned, and that's exactly how I'm going to mount it. I got that pin in there, and I'm just going to cut this off a little bit here. I'll drill a tiny little hole on top of the fender, and this is going to mount right on top of the fenders. So basically, it's going to go something like that. So so now I got headlights. So yeah, we got that going on. And what else do we have? Oh, I'm going to pause you here. I'm going to show you. I'm working on the trailer. Be right back. All right, guys. I'm going to have to step back a little bit, and because yeah, I measured this thing's about 20 inches long. So I finally got this thing mounted to the ramps on the bottom here, the floor section, and I did it with the regular cement because I was concerned about that getting lined up because I never built anything this scale before. You know, I mean this thing is friggin' huge. So what I did, I scraped off all the paint on the edges, got it nice and clean, and I just put a bead of glue all the way down, all the way to the end, and I worked my way. You can see inside there's tabs over there, and you just press and hold it in for a few minutes, each section, and just work your way down, and just keep pressing down, going back, you know, over the same section until it starts to set up. And once that was dry the next day, I came in and did the other side. So that worked out great. So I didn't do the rear suspension yet. I just wanted to do you know, the front sides, and I wanted to do a mock-up, make sure I got enough clearance at the cab, and you can see it works out pretty well. And then this guy's going to go, let's see if I can do this with one hand. She's going to go up over here somewhere, and we got plenty of clearance, no problem there. So once we glue this into the top, then we got this rear section over here. That's going to go right about, oh, here, got it backwards, dummy, come on. That's going to go like right in over there. And then we got the hydraulic cylinders right there. They're ready to go. They're going to go in the back because this has to be functional, because I can't get the cars on the bottom portion over there unless this ramp is functional. So that's going to have to work. So that's what we got, guys, and that's where we're at. So hope you enjoyed the video, and yeah, making good progress over here. And remember, guys, ain't nothing to it but to do it. All right, guys, take care, be safe, have a great weekend, and keep on building.